Morning friends. Today I went off to the thrift shops and I thought to myself, let me go and see what I can find, because I needed some new just some new materials for inspiration and also for ephemera. So I have a huge stash of different things that I've got, and I'm going to just show you as I walk through them one by one what I've actually got. Found this lovely little book just at the counter as I was going out, and it's the Bradbury's book of hallmarks. They gave it to me for nothing for the rest of my purchases, but it's got some very interesting little columns here with different little symbols, obviously things which are important if you're buying porcelain or china or jewelry or gold or silver. That just give you an idea of where it was made and the value, but I thought rather interesting things to add for ephemera. Then I have this lovely book of insects in wild cover, and what I loved about these is that they are illustrations rather than photographs, and as you can see on each page there are just loads of them, so I think one could scan this and fussy cut it, or one could make up a collage of some sort. But lovely colors, soft, gentle. If you're doing something like a field journal, this would be ideal. So I'm very happy with that purchase. Then along similar lines, I got one of these Blandford Colour Series Wildflowers. And those also have lovely illustrations of different flowers in the different stages of their growth. And I think that that's rather charming. So, I mean, as you can see, this one has just got loads and loads and loads of stuff. And if you wanted to have them bigger or smaller, you could just simply play around those by scanning them into your computer, or if you have access to a photocopy, you could actually do that. But I love the gentle colors there. Then I'm wanting to do some altered books. So I found this Enid Blyton story, and I just have happy memories of Enid Blyton from the time that I was a child. I may or may not use this, but part of it was just a throwback to the past, I suppose, just looking at some of the illustrations, remembering how I felt when the stories were read. Look at that sweet little frog. But I might use this for an altered book, I'm not too sure. Then this one was rather nice. It was the new Pitman's course in shorthand, and I'm sure that most of us today, our handwriting looks like shorthand because we so seldom write, we just use our computers and our phones. But it's got lovely little scripts. I'm glad I didn't have to learn how to do shorthand, but nevertheless some things that are interesting. I like the lines, different marks, and it's also got a bit of patina to it because it's really old. Then I've got this nice one, Biggles of 266. I've never read a Biggles book, although I was married to an airline captain, and maybe I'll read it before I do something with it, but this is the one that I thought I would actually start off with a junk journal, because it's got nice vintagey pages. They've all got this bit of patina around the edge, and I think that that's what I'm going to work on. Then there was this one, the Foreign Touring Guide of 1961, 7 and 6 for members only, from the Automobile Association. But it does have some lovely black and white maps. It's got a lot of quite small sort of font here. It's got different countries. It's got some road traffic symbols, especially if you're going to a new country and the symbols are slightly different, and quite a lot of different information at the back. And the front is just obviously hotels, garages, miscellaneous stuff, but different. I'm going to use that. This is all about propagation. It's an illustrated book, which is rather lovely, and I think that with the garden journal that I'm busy doing, some of this ephemera will be nice for various components that I'm going to be using. Don't feel sad about breaking this book up, because actually I only paid 50p for it, so that was a good find. Then I found this lovely Big Ben London map book. I know that these maps are freely available, but when you support a local charity to buy them, they're actually really, it's for a good cause, and I'm quite happy to cut that up. So where's the end of this? The end page, and as you can see, it's a really large old-fashioned fold-out map, not like the maps we use today where we actually just use our phones. But I like the fact that you can see the big picture rather than just having to look at a section on a phone. So although I have bought this primarily with making ephemera out of it, I might just actually use this on a day trip into London, because I can't remember what happened to my old maps that I used to have. But anyway, that was it. It wasn't £2, it was also just a few p's. The charity shops seem to be having book sales at the moment, so it's rather nice. This is the Ordnance Survey tourist map of the Trossachs and Loch Lomond, scale 1 inch to 1 mile, and it's actually on a cloth backing, which is really a lovely texture for it. Again, it's a rather large map. I'm not going to open the whole thing out, but as you can see, it's got quite nice colors, soft earthy colors, lots of contour marks and things, and I'm going to be happy playing with that one, so I'm not going to mind cutting that one up just yet. Then I found this Nothing But the Truth, latest travel guide with a mirth-provoking twist. And what I liked about this one was that it had this little box with these numbers in, which were clearly part of a game, probably this game, but they're really nice and old and worn. They look a little bit like a numeral version of a Scrabble set. And then it had these tickets, which, as you can see, really are old. They look a little bit like bingo cards, but obviously this game was scored slightly differently. And then you just put that there where you can see it. They had these different cards where people would fill in their clues and just some literature to go with it, how to play the game, and then just some phrases with some words, so one could possibly find a word or two here that one likes to be able to use that for something. So that was a game. It was again just a few pence, and more the tickets that actually caught my eye than anything else, because I loved the fact that they actually were genuinely old and I wasn't going to have to do any work. But lazy, but nevertheless. So that's Nothing But the Truth. And then here's another map that I've got of southeast and central England. The maps of the charity shops are really inexpensive, but this one I bought more because since I've been in the UK, the roads to me are like a big bowl of spaghetti with meatballs thrown in them, and it's really hard to find how to get from one way to the other. I'm used to sort of a more grid system kind of road map in South Africa, so I bought this so that I could ultimately use it, but just so that I can study the area that I'm living in and a bit further afield a bit more thoroughly. So dual purpose for that one. And then there was this lovely Complete Adventures of Peter Rabbit. I just love Beatrix Potter's illustrations, and this for this lovely hardcover book was actually only 60p. And look at this beautiful, beautiful blue in the covers here. And let me just start at the back. Why do we always start at the back of the book? I don't know, but we do, because it's easier to flip through. So we've got lovely black and white illustrations and her lovely watercolor illustrations. Sorry, it's rather a tall book, so if I can get all of it in, I think that's better. Quite nice bold font, and also this one just evokes happy memories for me of reading these stories as a child, being able to collect the little small Beatrix Potter books, which weren't that easy to get in South Africa because we had sanctions, so we used to have to see if we could find them in the charity shops then. But yeah, a really lovely book, because the ephemera and the book are precious in the sense that you've got illustrations on both sides, and I just like the book. I think I might scan this one rather than cut it up, and then I've got this for use at a later stage. But they're just charming, absolutely charming. The lovely 3 little rabbits. Yeah, I loved these stories as children, I really did, and my imagination is there. So I mean, I lived the little life of the rabbit as it was running through the garden and Mr. McGregor chasing him. Yeah, happy memories. And then this one is truly a beautiful, beautiful book. Year in the Life of Beth Chato's Gardens. I did pay £3 for this, but I think when you see the photographs you'll realize that it's actually worth it. So this is just one person's garden, and the photographs were taken by let me show you here, Rachel Warren, who's an international garden photographer, and they really are absolutely beautiful because she's got a good eye and she makes good use of the lighting. So we've got this lovely wintry scene, and she's grouped her photographs according to the season. So this is winter. I'm paging from the back simply because it's easier. Gorgeous scenes here, and I love the way the snow falls just on the one side of this tree and not the other, so it's obviously facing the right direction for that. I particularly like the pages where she has these images with the same color mount all around it, as opposed to just the normal photographs. So if I had to make a choice between using that photograph or these, my choice would be with these probably. And even though this page has been divided by being joined in the signature, I could use that section and that section and almost do it like a gatefold if I wanted a whole image. Beautiful double spread, and you'll see in some of the pictures that she's taken it's the same area but just at different times of the year. Really beautiful. Thick snow. I haven't read too much about where this garden is, but I would imagine it's further north, because we certainly don't get snow like this where I'm living. But just a simple thing, just like catching the snow on these seed heads. They really do just look like scoops of ice cream on a stick, don't they? And look at that, beautiful grasses. That's the stems of the Comus alba or Siberiaca. I'm not very familiar with the British plants yet. Some similarities between South Africa and Britain, but quite a lot of differences, so I'm learning still. Beautiful pond here. Yeah, so here's another example of photographs as they've been put onto a board with a different color mount, and I quite like these. I've got nice little compact images that I would use. I'm going to cut this book up. I'm not going to be precious about it. I love this image. You don't see the tree because that's over here on the right hand side, but you see all the tree in the reflection of the water, and I just love how she's captured that. It's actually very clever indeed. Yeah, here's some more images that I definitely play with, and also because these are real close-up images, so you've got a very good sense of the detail in these plants. Oh, my kind of garden. Organized, but doesn't look organized, if you know what I mean. You've got your formal bits, and the beds and things look very overgrown, but it's a planned chaos where you haven't got all the weeds in between. You've actually just got what needs to be there. Beautiful colors, and obviously different features, some low-growing shrubs and others which are tall pond plants. Lovely summer trees. And we're in that season now in spring in the UK where all the blossoms are out on the trees, and that just gives me so much joy, because in South Africa our blossoms are tiny little things and then they fall off so quickly. Lovely lavenders, irises, gorgeous. So this book has a treasure trove of pictures, and one's going to have to choose between this one and this one every single time, because there's a picture on every page. So I think that this one would be a really great one. And even if you cut this just up into blocks, you know, you could make all sorts of things with this. I'm going to be doing some videos on transferring images, where you would take an image like this and transfer it onto paper, so it has a more subdued look, almost as if it's been faded out of the paper, and that's rather a nice technique. So I'll show you how to do that quite soon. And there are quite a few different ways that you can transfer images, so I'll show you a number of them. Lovely pathways, gorgeous. These ones are definitely my favorite pages with the close-up images. There are 2 pages here, yes. Nice little benches in between. I went to a community garden near to me about a week ago, and they've made good use of all the space under the trees and in between hedges, and just made lovely little seating nooks. And although they work with a group of trainees, they actually allow the public to wander in amongst them while they're working, and you can talk to them, and it's really interesting. But it is a nice place to go and sit. They just need a coffee shop. Look at this, look at this. One of my happy colors, blues and purples. Love them, absolutely love them. So this has been a real adventure today. I primarily just went along London Road and picked up all the things that I could find and explored, and I must say, yeah, it was just gorgeous. Look at this lovely magnolia, and the prunus trees here. All the hawthorns, as I walk down to work to the farm in the morning, they're all in blossom at the moment, which is just gorgeous. Really lovely. Apple trees in our field, they're in blossom, so before long we will be harvesting apples, and that's an exhausting job because there's just so many of them. Anyway, it's all fine. We don't sell the apples as such because I work with trainees, but we do give them to staff and to trainees to take home. We try and use as much in our cooking groups, and then we also sometimes just put them out for people visiting the farm. Look at this. Isn't this wonderful? Absolutely wonderful. So thank you for looking through this with me. I hope that you found it interesting, and I will soon be working with some of these books. Not all of them, because it's quite a lot, but I will soon be working with some of them, and I look forward to sharing my ideas on this with you. Bye for now.